Hey guys, Mystellianne here, and I went to a regional this weekend in Kissimmee, and I actually ended up getting 17th place out of 350 people, which isn't bad, not bad at all. I got my invite, so I'll probably be going to Nats whenever it is, probably like July or so. But I wanted to give you guys my deck profile because it's very different from the one that I was playing before, or the ones that I've profiled for you guys before. Sorry that it's like another Monarch deck profile because I've done like 2 already, but I feel like it was necessary because it's very different, and it's worked a lot better for me in the long run. So starting off, we have 3 copies of YuGiOh. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if I want to go in depth, but YuGiOh just gets out YuGiOhs. And if you want, you can play like Mythra and all those vassals. I mean, this card, it's like a hit or miss for me, honestly, because if it gets Veilered, you can't really do much. Which is why I play this card 1-for-1. Because even if it gets Veilered, you still have the option to go for a play, since you didn't use your normal summon up that turn. Then next, also, one last thing. You can use it as a target for Foolish Burial to get back your banished spell trap cards, which is just great. And that obviously can't be Veilered, so that's an upside. Then we're playing 3 copies of YuGiOhs. Some people only play 2 because it bricks sometimes, but honestly, I'd rather it brick and I need it I get it when I need it. Rather than I don't brick it, or I don't draw it, which I still will, but I only have 2, because a lot of the times what your play will be is you have these 2 in graveyard and you just banish YuGiOh, summon YuGiOh, and then YuGiOh bring back YuGiOhs. But if you're in the grind game, having 3 YuGiOhs will definitely help instead of having only 2. Then for the big guys, we're playing 3 Ether. Ether, I never came to realize how good this card really is. Honestly, I like this card better than Erebus, because even though Erebus is a great form of removal, Ether is just like, it brings out, for example, in the mirror match, like obviously Stormforth Ether is your best option, and then this thing brings out another Ether, so you can use it next turn, or it brings out an Erebus, or a Karaz, stuff like that. And then this card is just really, really good. It has so much versatility. Then we're playing 3 copies of Erebus. Erebus is just, I mean, really good. Honestly, it's a little subpar to Ether for me, but this card is really, really good, especially since it doesn't target. It's just a great form of spot removal, especially since it goes from hand, grave, or field. Then we're playing 2 copies of Karaz. I bumped this card up to 2. I know I was debating whether or not to play it, but I ended up bumping it to 2 because I think this card is just amazing. Especially if you're only playing 1 and you draw it, you want to have the other one. So what you want to do with Karaz is when you summon Ether during your opponent's turn, you usually want to special summon Karaz, and then you get your 2 pops with Karaz. And usually the draws that your opponent will get off of Karaz are less like helpful to them than the ones that you destroy. That's your theory. Usually you want to pop their best cards so that, like, you know, the draws that they get will be suboptimal compared to the cards they draw. And sometimes this card can be like a hit or miss, but more times it's a hit. Then to round off the monsters, you're playing 2 copies of Veiler. Specifically going into the regional or my locals, most people are going to be playing Monarchs. So I decided to put in the main deck the Veilers just because I know it's a great hand trap against Monarchs. Like I said, if your YuGiOh gets Veilered, you basically have no play unless you special summon it off 1-for-1 or YuGiOhs or something like that. I'm actually siding the 3rd because it's that good, and I was considering siding Chalices, just because like you want to have like that many Veilers. It's that good. That runs off the monsters, and now I guess we can get to the spells and traps. Alright, so to start off these spells, we have 3 copies of Upstart. I don't believe I was playing this before, but I feel like I was bricking too often with the deck, and even though, of course, it gives your opponent 1,000 life points, and even though you can sometimes OTK with Ether, and that gives them 8,400, and if you Upstart them like that, I mean, it's not good. It's kind of hard to play through, but it's more necessary to get the draw than to OTK them, so definitely a card worth playing. Actually, in round 1 of the region, I played against like that Monarch FTK with Chicken Ray Pseudo Space. So what I did turn 1, because I opened, was I upstarted him twice, and he went through his entire deck, game 1, and then when he passed turn to me, we realized that since I had upstarted him twice, the difference in life points was only 7,000, not 8,000, so he couldn't life equalizer me, so I was pretty happy that I played these. And then, so next we have 3 copies of Pantheism, the best card in the deck by far. This card has so much versatility. If you brick, but you have another Monarchs trap card, like let's say you open Tenacity but no big monster, just discard Tenacity for this card, and just draw 2. And then if you really still didn't draw anything, you can banish this, grab another Pantheism if they're stupid enough to give it to you. Or if you drew Pantheism off of this, you can search any other Monarchs trap card and you can just have more discard fodder. Amazing card. And then the fact that you can just add it back off of Edea is just absurd. Then we're playing 3 copies of Domain. I think the only deck I played against that Domain was really useful against, I played 1 Pepe the entire regional. Like, I believe 3 of my matches were Monarchs. I'll go into the matches later, but Domain was still really helpful even if I was playing against Monarchs, because even though like they don't have an extra deck, so they can't special summon from it, the fact that it reduces the level of Erebus and Ether by 2 is really great. I mean, it just has a lot of utility. And then like let's say you're going into oh, that's right. Okay, so I went against Super Quantums, okay, and I had won game 1, he had won game 2. I mean, no, we were in game 2, we were in time, and we ended up drawing because he had the Megazord guy, and my plan was to get 2 domains, and I had an Erebus, and I had enough tribute fodder for him. So I figured, if I have 2 domain, and I have Erebus, I activate domain, and I tribute summon Erebus. If he shuffles domain back in, I have another one, and I would just crash into it. If he shuffles Erebus back in, I have another one in grave, so I'd send this to graveyard, add Erebus back, tribute summon the other Erebus, because I specialed the Edea, all that stuff, so I had 2 tribute summons. And my plan ended up going wrong because he shuffled the Erebus back into the deck, and I realized I didn't have a 3rd one, or another one in the graveyard. So, oh well. But, I mean, it's a good card, in theory. And then, we're playing 3 copies of Stormforth. This card is just really great, especially in the mirror. It's the MVP, absolutely. And of course, in any other deck, it's still really good, but especially in there. The ability to just get rid of your opponent's monsters on their turn with Ether just to interrupt their plays is just super, super amazing. Then we're playing 3 copies of Tenacity, just because it adds anything you want. So even if you only have like 1 copy, like Return in your main deck, just reveal Return to Tenacity, and then you got your Return. Usually they will add the Return, not the Tenacity, because they don't, I mean, in theory, they don't want your deck then. Then we're playing 1 copy of Return. A lot of people are playing 3, but I like this card at 1. A lot of the times, during my turn, I'll usually be special summoning Ether off of Ether. I only really summon Karaz on the opponent's turn, so like, I really don't need this because Ether adds something to my hand anyway. Like, so basically, I'm playing 4 copies of Return in a sense, because I have Ether. I mean, I guess playing 3 would be okay. I mean, I'll have to test it. I've been testing it, but I still like 1. I mean, I can keep testing, but this is what I like. Then we're playing these 3. So these 2, I mean, these are just like your consistency spells. Well, and to get your combos going, like your combo / consistency spells. Rhoda's pretty self-explanatory. You only have you have 3 targets, which is your 3 Edea. You just want to get Edea in your hand as fast as possible. And then even better than Rhoda, we have 1 for 1. I don't know where my super one is. I'll have to find it. So basically, like, let's say you have like an Erebus and like a, I don't know, a Prime in your hand. So you send like Erebus to your graveyard, especially in Edea get Eidos effect. Then you discard your Prime, get Erebus back, tribute summon, send Pantheism, and then what else? Anything else. And then it's just great. This card is amazing. It lets you have like 2 tribute summons in 1 turn. Awesome. Then to round off the spells, we're just playing 2 copies of Twin Twisters. I actually decided to main deck 2 of these because I feel like it's a great card, especially in this deck. A lot of decks can't really main this because of the discard part, but this deck has a lot of discard targets, You can discard Erebus or any big one, because Erebus can just add it back. You can discard Edea and then get Edea's effect. You could discard Prime. You could discard Pantheism if you don't have a target to send from hand and you just want to search. So much versatility. And if you really want, you can pop your own Prime in the set zone, so you can just special summon it. And then to round off the deck, we have the main deck. We have 3 copies of the Prime Monarch. A lot of people are playing 2. I find that 3 is very necessary, especially if you're playing a grind game in like the mirror. Because I found all the times that I went against the mirror, I won at the time. I actually drew against 2 mirrors and won against 1. And this card was the MVP in all of them. When you run out of resources, this card is just amazing. The ability to shuffle back 2, and the combo that you can do with 1 engrave and 1 on field. I believe I've showed you guys that before. It's like Retribu's Cannonhawk, where only 1 needs to hit the deck to get your draw. But you basically get 1 back into the deck, so you can just keep recycling your resources. So you can keep bringing, or keep getting the effect of Ether or Erebus, so you don't like run out of targets for them. So great card in general, and that is the main deck. And since I don't have an extra deck, we'll be going into the side deck now. So my side deck was pretty simple. I am ordering it a little weirdly. It's not like Monster Spell Traps, but I ordered them in the my matchups. So for the mirror, I sided these 4 cards. So my theory was that if I'm going second, I want to have these. I sided out the Twin Twisters, because like the only thing you really want to hit is like Domain, I guess. Like if you hit the Prime, they just baited you. So Twin Twisters isn't that optimal in the main, but Fog King is just amazing. Veiler, you want that 3rd Veiler because you want to negate the idea. And if I'm going first, Solemn Scolding is just great in the mirror. Like if you don't have a Veiler, Solemn Scolding, you can do it to like, I don't know, like if you really want, you can do it to Pantheism. You can do it to Edea, like whatever you want. It's just great. So that was what I cited for the mirror. For Cosmos, I actually didn't end up seeing any Cosmos, but I feel like my matchup against Cosmos is strong enough even without the side. But I sided these 3 cards and possibly these 2 if I wanted to. So my theory was that Cosmos only have 1 way of getting over a board that has Majesty's Fiend and March. The only way they can get over it is by tribute summoning Dark Destroyer or something like that, and then attacking over it, which is very, like, it's kind of neg, and by that point they'll be, like, down in card economy, so, like, you really won't be able to do much, they won't really be able to do much during the next turn. March is just great against Cosmos because Dark Destroyer. Yeah, that's my side against Cosmo. Then for Pepe, I sided 2 Battle Fader, Vanity's Fiend, 3 Maxi, and the field or board removal. I didn't side all of these, of course, at once. If I was going second, I side these, and if I'm going first, I side these. Just like board wiping is just great against the deck. And then of course Maxi, like it's really for your consistency. I didn't side these against Cosmos. I mean, I wouldn't have because honestly, I feel like Majesty's March is just so much better, and this is a lot better against Pepe. It'll give me a lot of draws. And then if I'm going first, I mean, Vanity's Fiend is just MVP against them, and then Battle Fader because I don't want to get OTK'd. I had actually cut Battle Fader out of the side, but then I saw that one match with, what's the guy's name at, like, I think that was an ARG or something like that, that he brought out the Battle Fader against Cosmos. I was like, oh my god, that's great. So I decided to play these, and they ended up putting in some good work. Alright, so that was basically the side deck. I mean, if you want, I could order it. I'll put it like this, I guess. Monsters. There we go. And then I'll go into my matches later. So those are my monsters here. And then spells, traps. So that's the side deck. Then I'll go into my matches now. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, so round 1, I went up against Monarch, Chicken Race Pseudospace. If I remember correctly, game 1, he, I told you about game 1, he went through his entire deck. Game 2, he actually activated Prohibition, call Idea. But I drew Twin Twisters for turn, so I pretty much destroyed him from then on because he didn't draw a very good game 2. I feel like his side against me, Prohibition, clogged his hand, which I don't mind at all. So I ended up winning that one. Round 2, I went up against Super Quantums, and I drew against them. Game 1, I got it. I just outplayed him with Domain. Game 2, he went into Megazord. And I think I mentioned that earlier, that I had the play with Double Domain and Erebus, but I didn't have it. I forgot that I had no Erebus in the graveyard, so I couldn't special or tribute summon another one to get over the Megazord or to crash into it. Round 3, I went up against Monarchs, another mirror. I ended up tying against that mirror. Game 1, I got it. Game 2, they got it. I don't remember the specifics of that match, but I mean, I don't think there's anything I could do about it. Round 3, sorry, I have this all in my notebook. I went up against another mirror. I believe, yeah, I think I won this mirror. Yeah, I won against this one. I think he just got OTK'd. I think I won 2-1. So next, I went up against Greedle Kaiju Artifacts. Sorry. I won against that one. It was like practically free, honestly. It was an interesting idea though. I like the creativity in it. Then next round, I believe this is round 5 now. I went up against Pepe. Now this was the guy who won the last regional at Kissimmee. And I won against him 2-0'd. I kind of feel bad because game 2 he completely bricked like hard. The only card he had against me was Scolding, but I drew Twin Twisters. Well, I didn't drew it, but like I had Twin Twisters and I sniped it. And I felt so bad for him. Then I just won. Then round 6, I went up against Phantom Knights. Like, was it round 6? Yeah, I think, yeah. Round 6, I went up against Phantom Knights. I mean, I won. Game 1, we went into time. And I ended up winning game 1. Well, we didn't go into time. Okay. So, I won game 1. It was a long grind game. As we were siding, they called time. And we thought we were supposed to go into game 2. But they actually said whoever wins, whoever won game 1 would just win the match. So I got it. Felt really bad. Then round 8, I think, I went against another Monarch mirror. I ended up tying against this one as well. I was pretty sad. I don't remember exactly how this one went, but he actually is a really cool card combo. Whenever I tried to like ether him, he would tribute off his monster with Strike of the Monarchs, and then he played Caius and Thestalos, which actually I have to get into about why I didn't play Thestalos, because I know I used to. And so like he just outplayed me game 2. I got game 1. Then the last round I went up against Kaiju Monarchs. It was actually an interesting idea. We went into time game 1. It was a grind game. I had like 2 cards left in deck by the end of it, but I ended up winning in time. So at the end of the day, my record was 6 wins, 3 draws. It's pretty funny actually. So I ended up getting 17th place at this regional. Oh, okay, one last thing. Why I didn't play Thestalos. Sorry if that is late. But I ended up not playing Thestalos because, so my mentality is that you really want Thestalos turn 1, or if you're that far ahead an advantage, that Thestalos is better than Erebus. Like if you're really far ahead that you board wipe them, and all they have is their the resources in their hand, Thestalos is definitely better than Erebus. 100%. However, when you open, I actually want to see Erebus more than Thestalos. Even though Thestalos lets you look at their hand, Erebus gets you those 2 things in your graveyard, like Pantheism Prime or Kisala, whatever you want. So actually, I kind of want to see Erebus more, even though you don't get to see their hand. It lets your combos go off more. So that's basically my reasoning behind it. I just liked Erebus better. I felt like the 3 Ether 3 Erebus was strong enough, and it ended up proving fine. So yeah, that was my 17th place Kissimmee regional deck profile for Monarchs. I hope to play some Monarchs more before they get hit. So yeah guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys let me do in the future, and yeah, peace guys.